I feel you.
We're going again.
I had some really great organic dialogue about scissors and
Haircuts?
scotch.
Do it
and
again.
how it was awesome.
Do it again.
Well, okay, so, hey, dude, your beard looks good.
Hey, thanks, man.
Did you get it trimmed there?
I did yesterday. It was
Man,
awesome.
I tell you what.
Well, I knew you got your haircut. I didn't know if they trimmed your beard
Oh
too.
yeah, I've done that every time now. It's
Good call. They do a
I
good job.
tried doing it once after I told you I wasn't going to do it again myself, and I ruined it, and so then yeah, I stopped.
You're like, I'm done with
well.
that.
Yeah,
I feel you.
not sure.
Yeah, I need to go. I'm gonna try to go tomorrow. I need it bad.
Get up in there.
I'm gonna get up in there, give myself some scotch at 1 in the afternoon.
I actually was running late to go to Rob's house afterwards, so I just had them make me a rum and coke and downed it and then left,
Oh,
which
nice.
is probably healthy for
Okay.
you.
You were like, I need this to get to
And then
Rob's.
I Ubered safely to Rob's.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Wink.
right. Yeah.
All right, here we.
Hopefully they
That's
can hear me
called
now. Can
editing.
you guys hear me? Say yes in there.
Someone respond.
Rob.
Let's
Can
give
we-
it a second.
Let's give it up in the chat.
Can you hear me and Jacob speaking to one another?
Hello. Now they don't want to talk.
I don't know. I don't know if they can. We just need someone to okay it.
Yep, someone said yes.
Did they?
I don't know what they were saying yes to.
Mine didn't even show up. Dang. Oh,
John Lee says
I'm
yes.
so far behind.
Rob said good too. So
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Nice.
You're listening to Thunderheads, a podcast for Thunder fans by Thunder fans.
Woo! Welcome to Thunderheads. If you're tuning into YouTube Live, we're psyched to have you, and we also apologize for any issues that we've had. Man, we've been running into them lately, and it's been annoying. But hopefully,
Computers, they're hard.
it is. You know, it's like just the Lord is trying to hold us down.
That's got to be it.
It's got to be it. There's no other explanation. I am Brandon Soul, joined by, well, it's the return of the Thunder Time self. It is Mr. Justin Wright.
the most important thing to remember is protect your quarterback. Me.
Remember the Titans.
Still,
Denzel Washington.
I'm
said
glad you kept it.
I'm going
Okay.
Burt Reynolds again.
It's Bert.
It's Bert.
it. Okay.
Which
Yeah, longest yard, 1974, which was, Adam Sandler did the thing. He was a OU Heisman winner in the movie. And
Oh, was he really?
And Adam Sandler's, yeah, I think maybe the 1970. I haven't actually seen the 1974 one.
Me
so-
neither.
Wow.
But
Sort of
anyways,
skimmed it.
yeah, Burt Reynolds passed away today, which is sad, and also
He
NFL.
lived a good life though.
Yeah,
He's
he was
old.
82.
82. So that's,
NFL's back tonight. It's
Dude,
the first
I
game of
don't.
the season.
I don't get sad when old people die.
yeah, me neither.
So I'm not that sad
It's
that Burt
more
Reynolds died.
happy,
He was
right?
gonna die. He's 82. That's
like-
that's old, dude. That's great.
Is that old? That's like average. Though,
80's
right?
like the
Maybe-
new 110.
Okay. Well, I
Justin,
mean,
what are you
Oh
drinking?
wait, I think that was back.
I was about to say. I
This-
think I hope that that's gonna extend.
Is that a Ziegenbach? I
It is
see?
a Ziegenbach, yeah.
Fun fact: Ziegenbach, up until I'm pretty sure this season, was the only 6-point option at the Thunder games. If you go to the Thunder games and you want to get a beer, Ziegenbach was the only option. They've replaced that. So I'm a little upset about that because I don't mind it. Although it did give me a killer headache the next day every single time I drank it.
Hey, they're all going to be 6-point now, so
That's a bummer.
works out. Because the laws change in October.
You think they will be at the arena?
Yeah.
Why would they not?
Yeah, why would that? You can't. You're not
I
gonna be
just
able to
feel
get-
like they do some shit like that.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Actually, that's a.
Yeah, 3-2 beer is going away October 1st. Like, you're not going to be able to find it anywhere.
How-
Well, maybe Utah, but
So October 1st. That's exciting.
yeah, it's coming up.
Super exciting. Jacob, Jacob Mann is here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep. Man, I got to work on that, huh?
The man,
Well,
man,
I
man.
need. Maybe it's. I think the burden is on me. I think I need to figure something out. Something
don't know.
Need a
snazzy.
zingy catchphrase
I
like
think it's
mine.
me. What are you drinking?
Just some Dr. Pepper and rum.
It's like we're children and you
Yeah.
just mix together what you can find in your parents' house.
100%. That is my approach.
He
to
says about
drinking
my drink of
alcohol.
choice for all time.
I'm sorry.
That's
That's why I had
Accurate.
it.
Well,
was
it's like
this
when we
guy.
go to a place, Dark and Stormy Jason Lewis is here.
yes, sir.
He'll be like, can I take your order, sir? And he'll
It's so complicated.
yeah, and he you can just tell he's like dreading the moment where he has to order his drink. Rum and Dr. Pepper, please. And they're always
And they're
like,
like,
what?
We don't have either of those things.
yeah.
And I'm like, how do you?
Oh, yeah, you always say Sailor.
Yeah.
Sailor Dr. Pepper. Or Sailor Coke.
It's either, no matter which one I use, they don't have it. So that's why I just go to bars where people know me and I just say, my drink, please. Thank you.
That's right. That is why you do that, huh?
That is correct.
It's not a bad idea.
That is one of the most introverted things I've ever heard in my life.
Cheers, sir.
Everyone has a little something like that,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're back in the day, if you're middle school, high school, or whatever, and there's like a certain person you want to avoid after first hour. You know, like, I hate this person. I hate this guy. Or maybe he's always has something snarky to say to me, and maybe picks on me. Whatever. Maybe he makes fun of me.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the back way.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the back way because then I don't have to see him. That's basically what you're doing with your drink.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Except for I also enjoy but yeah.
I let the chat know that if they had questions, they could bring them up, and I'll try to
That's
address
true.
them. But I said only if they don't suck.
They're probably wondering why you're so sleepy.
Well, because I'm tired.
He took a
I'm sleepy because I'm tired.
capsule
Yeah.
before we started.
We kind of have a wild show today, guys. It's September, what's the date? 6th?
6th.
We're in the weeds here of the summer. There's not much to talk about here, so we're going to make it fun. We're going to try to make this fun. It's a very summer show today. Things we'll get to later. Mo Cheeks going in the Hall of Fame. Dakari Johnson continues to get toyed with in the NBA
Poor
circle.
son of a bitch.
Like I said, all of that later. A couple weeks back, we did a bunch of player over-unders, if you remember. That was a lot of fun. Super content-heavy show. Today, we're going to do some team over-unders. Applying to the team, spark some conversation there. Wins, seed, get into like three-point percentage, assists, technical fouls against the Warriors, fun things like that. We had a bunch of you submit some stuff a couple weeks ago, so we're going to do that. And right off the bat, I just want to get started with this. Remember when we used to do Disaster of the Week?
Yeah.
We haven't done Disaster of the Week
It's
in
been a
long time.
minute because we had a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
We're gonna have a couple of these today, and it's gonna be fun. And we're gonna mix in. We're gonna kind of alternate some fun stories like this, and we're just gonna riff on them, and then we're gonna throw in some of this Thunder stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to start with the fun, wacky story here. KFC is offering $11,000.
Jesus.
You don't even know. Jeez.
11,000? Take it.
To the
11 herbs and spices.
to the first baby born on September 9th that is named Harland. And the reason is because Colonel Sanders, Harlan Sanders is his name. I guess his birthday is September 9th.
Probably what comedian Harlan Williams was named after.
Probably so. And so they're gonna, if you name your baby after Colonel Sanders, like some lunatic, and you name him Harlan and you submit it to KFC, they'll give you $11,000.
Well, son, we named you Harlan because we wanted you to go to college.
What if you were already
Stuck
going
that
to name your
11,000
kid
in an
Harlan?
account.
$11,000 ain't getting him to college.
No, it's you put in an account when he's born. By the time
Here's your
he'll
first
have
semester, son.
11,500.
Dude, Harlan's not that bad of a name.
It's
I
not.
kind
Well,
of like it.
But what are some nicknames you could do?
Harls?
Har?
Did you just say Har?
I don't like either of those.
I mean,
Colonel.
I don't like it. I'm just telling you what they'll probably do.
You'd call him the
that's,
Colonel.
That's why he ends up as Colonel. Like so if you go out on a limb for $11,000 and you just don't care about the well-being of your kid when he's growing up and he's 7 and getting made fun of by all his friends because his name is Harland, and they're like, what kind of name is Harland?
I mean, I feel
You
like there
just
are
call him
way worse
Colonel.
names for kids to pick on people with.
Would you
than
do this
Harland.
though? Like if say you're a person that has a baby due September 9th, you're like, oh my god, that's my due date. $11,000. I mean, I'm gonna try to have this baby super early in the day.
I gotta make sure schedule. Hey, even if it could be natural, we're scheduling a C-section for
Wait, so it's the
12:01 a.m.
Right.
It's the first baby born?
First baby born.
with that name.
Could you not just do it and then legally change their name to something else? Because for
suppose you could.
$11,000, it's worth the
Also, just
hassle.
give him a cool nickname and you're good to go.
What if there's a thing that says, like, they put it in the whole agreement, this $11,000 we get to take back if you change the name of your baby.
Or if you give them a cool middle name and they go by that, give us that money back.
Okay, so I've a hypothetical situation here. Let's say you're living in New York. You've automatically got
I'd never
Oh.
live there.
Yeah.
the East Coast.
I'm
You-
just kidding. I would live there.
You automatically have
pretty cool place.
at least a 1 hour advantage over
Ooh.
anyone else.
That's true.
That is
Good
true.
point.
So
Maybe they need to
I
go
think
by
that's-
the universal
Time code.
yeah.
UTC,
Yeah.
Yeah, get that in there.
GMT.
Has anybody looked at the fine print of this contest?
Because
I feel like we need to pull it up and go lawyer on it.
Yeah, we need some lawyers to come in here and
Right.
look over this thing for
What
us.
happens if you name your kid Harlan? You submit it and you're like, this person beat you to the punch. You're like, well,
Oh, that's
it's
a
on
huge
his
bummer.
birth certificate. I wasn't going to name him Harlan. Now I've named him Harlan because of this stupid contest. Now I don't get $11,000, but my kid's name is Harlan,
And you probably don't
and
figure
it's a
out.
girl.
And you probably don't figure out for a good 2 weeks if you won the contest or not. Because,
Yeah, that's true.
processes.
Yeah. And like 11 grand's a lot of money, but it's not that much money. Like if it was 100 grand, I'd risk it. I'd be like,
yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
yeah, you're Harland.
Yeah. Sorry, bud.
You're Harland. That's your middle name too.
I just went double. I thought maybe they'd give me 200,000.
We actually, so we're going tomorrow to the courthouse. We're changing our last name. So you're going to be Harland.
That's
That's
beautiful.
ridiculous.
I mean, if it gets you the money.
Yeah, I'll take it.
If this kid is born in Louisville, then you have to double that prize at least, right? If it's a kid in Louisville, the
No, I
birthplace
think
of
you
KFC.
have it. You have it.
I
Because
gotta
it's less risky, dude.
I got to tell you, Justin, I think that KFC's penny pinchers here. 11
Yeah.
grand?
Yeah, it's not
That's
as
not a
I
lot.
get the 11 herbs and spices. Like that's why they're doing. That's why they chose 11, but do 111,000. You're asking them to name their kid something ridiculous.
I think at this point, those 11 herbs and spices have become one herb and spice. They just blend
It's
it
called
together.
grease. It's the spice and herb.
It's oil that you put in the
just
fryer.
Dip it in the same grease that's been there for 20 years. Just keep going in.
Which this
No offense,
this
KFC.
story, this KFC story, obviously KFC has chicken.
They do.
It happens to segue perfectly into what's kind of been floating around here lately.
No pun intended.
If you're a tennis fan, if you're a tennis fan, which I am, I love tennis.
I am not.
U.S.
Just to
Open,
go on record.
U.S. Open is happening right now, and one of their rejoins from commercial, they caught a shot of this mom with her son, and this mom dipped a chicken strip in a soda and then ate it. And it's
Not a sauce.
not a sauce,
A soda.
a soda, and it's gone viral,
Shit's so weird, dude.
Apparently, some people have been telling her she needs to go to prison.
which is funny.
Yep.
Which is, and she apparently it offended her a little bit. She's like, people are telling me I have to go to jail, which makes it even more funny.
You
be
dipped your
crazy
chicken
if
strip
someone-
in soda. You can deal with it, dude.
But-
there are repercussions for actions in this life.
Okay, so you think that wasn't the first time she's done that?
That's what my question. My question is: does anyone have any information on? Did she do this before? Was it her kid being like, "Hey, mom, dip that chicken in the soda and see if it's good"?
No. She did that.
There's no way you're at the U.S. Open. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna dip this chicken tender into this Coke. Like,
right.
That was premeditated. She's done this before. She knew what she was doing.
The
She likes
only explanation would be if maybe she just thought she had a sauce in her hand and she wasn't thinking and she just dipped it.
No.
I agree, but that's the only explanation.
But she continued to eat it though, right?
Yeah, she ate it.
Yeah.
This is confirmed.
I mean, you're at the tennis. Is there like a more proper
Right, yeah, that's-
sport than tennis? If you're a spectator, you got to be super proper.
Like,
I didn't even know
one
they
of the
allowed
big
it.
One of the big horse races. That's like the only thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
tennis is especially Wimbledon is a
Right.
big thing. So yeah, the U.S. Open is the biggest one we have in the
I
U.S.
didn't know they
I'm
allowed chicken strip
That's what I
or
was gonna
soda at tennis.
I'm surprised the food's not like lobster
Carrots.
tail.
Yeah.
I just
Would you
thought
like the lobster tail or a filet mignon?
we've brought you carrots.
Carrots. You eat them.
I'll take that fillet mignon.
Eat them with edible toothpicks too. Just can't litter. All right, so what we're gonna do today? We're gonna try this. Figured why not? It's September 6th.
I went and picked up some Louisiana Kitchen Popeye's chicken.
Oh, we're
For
doing
us.
this, dude.
It's a little cold by now, fellas. I'm not gonna lie.
It's gonna be a little rubbery.
just-
Wait, why are you handing it to me? Am I going first?
no, we just-
What if we all do it at the same time?
There's
We
only
all?
3 of them, so we're gonna have to split
Oh
a
my
strip.
gosh.
So what's the soda here? If you're watching on YouTube, we have a soda in the middle of the table. We have the chicken strips in our hand.
Here you
They
go,
are
Jacob.
cold. They feel
Oh god.
Very disgusting right now.
like shavings off of a tire.
I'm gonna be honest, having already eaten a whole order of these earlier because I did that when I went there. I'm not looking forward to it.
Round 2, baby. But dessert this time.
I feel like we're gonna get it on the table if we don't.
Oh, that's true. All right.
I'll just go first.
Oh, you ripped yours off. I'm not ripping.
Wait. Other end. No, don't go
You
where
gotta
you
go
ripped.
crisp?
You got to go crisp part.
Yeah, you got to do it how she
Yeah.
did it.
I really dunked it in there.
Go for it, Jason.
Oh.
Oh, you could hear the crunch.
I like chicken. Especially fried chicken. I really like Coca-Cola. There is no way these two things together is a good thing.
Jacob just tweeted. Jacob here at the table is about to eat soda chicken. Here we go.
Dude, we're getting a different Jason and I are getting a different experience because
Yeah, you gotta go crisp.
Yeah.
You gotta go crisp side.
No, I'm not gonna go crisp side.
You have to go crisp.
That's
No.
part of the deal.
All right, fine.
It was kind of
Oh my god,
You
dude.
put it in your rum and drink.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that makes your rum is now going to taste a little bit like chicken.
Oh,
God. What do you guys think? I really didn't notice much of a change. Maybe it was the coldness of the chicken.
there's
didn't
definitely
help.
the first flavor is like the soda.
Yeah.
This
is something I would never do again.
No, why
I
would
will say that.
I don't understand the appeal at all because I did have the thought in my head going into this. What if
it's
good?
amazing?
What if it's
right?
really
That's
good?
what I was hoping for a little bit. I was like,
I think Justin likes it. He's continuing to eat it.
"You gonna dip
That's
it
not
back
bad.
in?"
Go number 2.
Hell no.
It's not
Hell no.
awful.
It wasn't that bad.
Definitely not something I would send somebody
I just
to prison
wouldn't do
for.
it.
But why would? Yeah. What's
Exactly.
Because here's the thing. The first dunk is not that bad, but eventually you're going chicken a soda. And once you do that, dude, there's no going back. And then also your soda's going to start being greasy.
Right.
Right. Your rum and Dr. Pepper is now going to taste like rum and Dr. Pepper and
But I
chicken.
don't think it will because of just the one. But if I would kept doing it,
Then you're screwed.
then
Right.
you're in
So what's
Uncharted.
worse here? Is it the chicken with the soda on, or is the soda with the
It's
chicken?
the soda.
grease
It's got to be the soda.
in it? Yeah.
Because that stuff is fried so.
Do you think this lady goes to like Chick-fil-A, right, and she orders chicken strips, and they're
Oh,
like, "Would you
how
like any
dare
dipping
you.
sauces?" She's
How
like, "Yes, please,
dare
a
you."
Coca-Cola."
And they're like, no, I said a sauce.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
A Coca-Cola thing. Classic.
You guys want to get into some over?
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about
let's
some
do
real
it.
stuff.
That was good stuff, though,
It was fun.
except for the taste of it.
We
I
got
regret
some. We got some viewers from California in the chat.
Someone want to send us to
Wash
jail?
from France is in the chat.
Cool.
Our France fan.
All right, good
Fran,
stuff there.
Our friends.
All right, so let's get started. We're gonna do these team
right.
based. Remember a couple
guys.
weeks ago we did player based. We're gonna do team based this time, and this is where it gets good. We're starting to get to the point where all of us, man, we're gonna have to come up with some numbers here. How many games is this team gonna win? What seed are they gonna get? I know all of us have been thinking about this a lot all summer. We haven't settled on a number individually or as a group, so I'm gonna set the win total at what Vegas has it at 50.5. Which is, by the way, I think 2 over what it was last season, which is interesting.
Do you know
50
what do they have above? Like, what are the 50? How does that correspond with our seeds? What do they have?
That has the Thunder as the 3 seed.
Okay.
So the only 2 higher, Houston and Golden State.
Okay.
So 50.5. What you guys got? Is anyone? How about this? Is anyone gonna go under?
I am not.
So
I'm not
Anyone
going
else?
under.
You know why I'm not going under?
He's
Because I'm
going
a true
82.
damn fan.
yeah,
He's going 82.
83 actually. but, you know. They're gonna play another game.
they get a new one to see if they can keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, well,
yeah.
let's just see.
Man, I hate that all 4 of us are going to go over,
I do too.
but I feel like if I had to bet, I go over. I'm a little like I'm somewhere. I said this a couple pods ago. I'm somewhere between 50 and 52 wins here. I can't settle on one. Now 50 is obviously under, but the majority of my range is
It's
over.
over, right?
I just think that, man, that year of chemistry, building that chemistry
Yeah.
is going to make a huge difference, right?
Yep.
And then you throw in a new player, a new weapon in Dennis Schröder. That's good for a couple wins right there.
Right.
That team last year started 8-12. This team's not starting 8-12. You know,
I hope not.
They had an uphill climb the entire season last year, and they still won 48 games.
Right.
So you're telling me they're only going to win 2 more or less than they won last year when they started 8-12, and they
Yeah.
never really looked like a team that was a real force, except for when they played Golden State early in the year.
Right. My argument, I guess, against our collective decision would be just that the West is crazier than it was last year, which was already insane, and now it's just another level, like a couple levels up
Yeah,
of
that's
insanity.
fair. And that's
So,
Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I could see that just making it more and more difficult to get to above 50
Sure.
and a half. But I put them around somewhere 52, 53 is where I'm leaning, just because all the things you said
Yeah.
are great points.
So,
Thank you.
But also, Melo's gone.
Yeah, Melo is gone. And I think what you're saying is interesting, too, because last year this team played so well versus good teams.
Yeah.
And then they played really poorly against bad teams. Surely that evens out a little bit. I'm sure they lose a little more games to good teams this year than they did last year, and they beat the bad teams a little more regularly than they did last season.
You would assume so.
So I think it's twofold, the reasons that I'm picking them to be higher. So Vegas has Houston's win total or their projected win total at 54. So here's what I think between those two, because I really do think it's going to be a 2-horse race for the third seed or for the second seed. Last season OKC got stuck in the middle of the pack because of just team construction. It just didn't make sense. Patterson was a non-issue or a non-factor because he just wasn't playing the right spot. We had lack of depth problem. Melo was just like struggling. Everyone was struggling to figure out how to play together.
Sure.
With 2 guys, it's easy. With 3 guys, it's a challenge. I think that OKC has fixed their problems there. And then also, I think Houston has digressed. I mean, you've lost. They were the ones bringing continuity, and obviously they're bringing Chris Paul in. But with a guy like that, with a point guard, it's easy. I think I projected that it would be easy. I think that it is going to be a reverse situation this season. I think that Houston and OKC are going to switch. That's my prediction.
And like
That's a big prediction.
with the whole thing about Melo leaving, like it's not just because he's gone.
No.
To me, it's a lot of it was PG and him kind of conflicting where they were at and what they were doing. And so him getting out of the way a little, like, I mean, obviously people will go back to that Jazz game where we made the comeback when he was on the bench and it was like,
I've said
This
from the
looks
beginning,
better.
I think that he's going to be better this season.
Sure.
I thought that if he was with OKC, and I think that with Houston, I think he's going to be better.
And him getting out of the way, I don't think is necessarily like physically getting out of the way, but it's more of a mental thing to me. Whereas like now Russ and Paul George don't have to sit there and be like, well, let's get it to Melo this possession.
They don't have to think about that anymore.
Yeah.
That's remember how we kept talking about last year. Like always talked about how Russ was thinking and like they all looked like they were overthinking and not just playing basketball. Like I feel like now the group they have can all just like trust each other and they know those 2 guys are the guys.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about.
And that's all the factors, right? That's the continuity carrying over another year.
Right.
That PG re-signing for 3+1. It's that just kind of
Like there's a trust there now.
there's a trust. There's a wow. You can just rest. You can just exhale. There's a little bit of that. So yeah, I mean, and it's nothing against. That's where when I said it's no more Russ and PG having to think about getting the ball to Melo here and there. That's also maybe why Melo didn't have a great season.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
He's
but
sitting there as the third option where people are having to consciously be like, let's get him the ball this possession. Where it's like that's not the best way to play basketball.
No.
Yeah.
But it's the
For
way
anyone.
that you play with Melo.
Is
and
it?
I think,
We're gonna find out. It might be. It very well might be.
Here's the thing:
hope it
if
is.
Melo in this next, and then we should move on because we could talk for hours about this. But if Melo,
I do want to hear what Justin has to say.
Oh well, and yeah, when we'll
Just
hear what
skipping him
Justin
right
has to
over.
say.
Unlike you, Jacob, I do want to hear what Justin has to say.
Well, Justin, I really didn't want to hear what you had to say, to be honest. What I was going to say is I think that was the thing that we knew about Melo, which was, hopefully it works and hopefully you get him those touches and he's effective, and he wasn't. I think that if you see him in Houston with a really low role, like a really low usage role where he's not doing much and maybe he does end up coming off the bench, you're either seeing a guy with the most dramatic change of heart ever that I've seen in my lifetime of watching the NBA, or you're talking about a guy that's just going to be pissed off all the time.
But I do think that Chris Paul and James Harden are going to be able to do a better job than anyone on the Thunder could of getting him good shots.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Melo didn't get good shots last year. He definitely got good shots.
He'll hit
clanked
more.
him right
He
off
will-
the side of the
He
backboard.
will. Everyone should know right off the bat that he's gonna hit. He's gonna shoot better.
Yeah,
next
I
season.
agree.
And he was going to with the Thunder. I really believe that. I
Yeah.
just think he was off.
Yeah, and I think that he just didn't have the passers that he's about to have in Houston this next year.
Yeah, that's kind of the, like Melo's game doesn't really line itself up with Russell Westbrook assists come in really strange fashions, and you have to
And
be
90
used
miles
to
an
it.
hour.
Yeah, like I mean, Steven Adams now knows exactly when it's coming and knows to prepare his hands because they're about to be ripped off if he doesn't catch the basketball.
Well, and he puts him right there down by his ankles.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
right where the ball's going to be.
They're not always the greatest passes, but the guy scored he scored over 25,000 points in his career. He didn't do that just by rolling the ball out and just chucking for. I mean, he did it that way, but he also made a bunch of shots. Like he's still a good player. It didn't work out in Oklahoma City, and I think it's going to be addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Not by much. I'm looking at 51. I think that's where I'm going to end up resting like once the season starts. So not much over, but I do like the over. I like the confidence that this team's going to play with, and like you mentioned, they're not going to lose to those terrible teams like they were last season.
Agreed.
Let me ask you this: how surprised would you three be if this team went out, caught fire early, win 60 games?
Ooh,
I'd be surprised. Just because you'd be.
Is that a little too high of a ceiling?
No, that is the ceiling. I think.
You
I mean,
so?
the ceiling is realistically the ceiling is the second. I just don't. I mean.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not beating Golden State.
No,
I just don't think you are.
But that's also why I think it's hard to beat Houston in the regular season standings. I think this team will match up well with Houston in the playoffs, but in the regular season, when you have guys like Chris Paul and James Harden, it's just like regular season wins. You know, that's just what they do.
But I think I agree and I disagree to some extent because I think that you do, but then they've got guys like Ariza that also, in my opinion, equal regular season wins. That maybe you lean more on your studs.
But what the
playoffs.
Rockets win last year? 65, something like that.
Yeah.
So
sounds about right.
like is losing Ariza and Mbah Moute and gaining Melo and James Ennis and whoever the hell else they've lost and gained, is that going to be, if you think the Thunder are going to win 52, 53 games, is that going to be 12, 13 games? That seems like a stretch to me.
The only reason I look at it just by simple, he's got to be somebody. It's got to be the Thunder. It's got to be Houston. I just think Houston had no pressure last season because the Thunder, there was just nobody coming for them. And I just think, I really think, I don't think it's like on paper. I think it could make up that difference because you might have a game where Donovan Mitchell's just going insane and you don't have Robertson to go to, or you don't have Mbah Moute, or you don't have, Ariza to be that spurt. Like, I just think maybe in the playoffs it won't be as big of a deal. Rotations are shorter. You're going to have to lean on Melo anyway now that he's on the team. But I think in the regular season, maybe it's different.
Maybe
do you have a different opinion?
I just think exactly reverse of you.
No, I get you.
Because I think in the playoffs,
I could see the opposite.
I just think you're completely wrong.
No. That's
I could see it.
Yeah, it's in the playoffs. I think that's where that depth and having those defenders. It's famous that Ariza. That's what Rockets fans are probably hanging their hat on with the whole Melo thing and losing Ariza and how much will it really hurt them. Is his last 2 games in the playoffs, he was horrible. I think he was 1 for 15 or something.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. I know for sure his last game he was 0 for terrible.
Yeah. No, he was. Ariza was bad.
So I think
that
that's
whole
a big
team was 0 for terrible.
But that's also
game,
overlooking what he does on the defensive end, as you're alluding to here.
But I mean, like for me, I feel like that James Ennis guy, that's who they got. Like I feel like he can kind of take up a little bit of that slack, depending on who starts and who doesn't, or who gets the minutes and who doesn't. But I mean, like you said, I don't know if it's going to be that significant of a drop off to where it's just like, oh, they're way worse.
I don't think that will be. People will still say that Houston is great. They'll say they will absolutely still be in contention. I just don't think that the Thunder will remain in this lower echelon that they were last season.
Oh no,
that's what I mean. I think that you will talk about. I think when we're all talking about the Western Conference and we're talking about the seeds, I think you will talk about Golden State, Houston, and Oklahoma City this season. And I think, and then the rest.
Really? Yeah,
that's what I think.
I'm with you, but I throw Utah in there.
I feel you.
And then it's everyone else.
I hear you.
Man, it's gonna be fun. Like it's never. Okay, the NBA is predictable as far as who's at the top. This is well known.
Yeah.
But it's kind of unpredictable as who's in the middle. Like who are the ones fighting for those seats, especially in the West right now?
Yeah,
so
I mean, when you look back at last year, what was it, 3 through 8 was all up for grabs.
3 through 10.
Well,
right.
I mean, it got crazy.
Like those playoff spots, like no one knew who was in those spots until the very last games.
And that's why I watch basketball.
Yeah, it is
see
good.
Who's going to land in that 6 seed, baby?
Who's going to be 8th?
I need to know.
Who's going to lose to the Warriors really fast?
Speaking of seeds, 3.5. That's my over-under. Everyone's going over here? Over as in an under number?
Right. Over as in
Yes.
like
worse.
over because I think they will be the 3 seed.
Me and Justin are on the same page on this.
I'm on your guys' page too. I listened to the thing.
Yeah.
It was very hard to keep up with
Okay.
Rob and his.
So
unders
3.5.
and overs.
Everyone's going over. Better.
I'm going over. Yeah. Let's go 3. 3 seed. I like
You at 3?
Well, I just
you're
told
at
you.
2.
I'm at 2.
I would say, the 2.5 would be the really sticky one. Especially just, I think part of it, just seeing it right in front of me, by 2.5, like, they could get that 2 seed. That would make me think, but I think the 3 is so attainable, and I think the four, I think they're so much better than the four.
They were a game from the 3 seed last year.
Yeah, and if going back to, if you don't drop one of those stupid games, you don't lose to the Kings in, what was it, November? Where you couldn't even stay on the floor with them. You don't lose that game, and then all of a sudden you're the 3 seed, and you're the one
damn
getting swept by the
Bucks.
Pelicans.
But are we overlooking Utah and just what they did when Gobert returned to that team last year, and how they went on some crazy 29-5 or whatever they were to end the season? Then they handled the Thunder easily.
But would you say that the Thunder are better matched up with them now than they were?
Just
say
because
in that
of
playoff?
Melo?
You got Robertson back.
Sure.
You got Pat
That's
starting at the 5.
Noel.
You've got Noel. You've got another, you've kind of got some more bigs that can actually get playing time.
Right.
I just feel like we're a little bit more suited
That's
than
fair.
we were at that time.
But on the flip side,
we all picked them to win that series, and they didn't.
on the flip side, you can also make the case that Donovan Mitchell is going to be a year better.
He's going to be better.
Rudy Gobert is going to be a year better. These are young guys. Ingles will probably just be Ingles.
That's what I
son of
see
a-
right there.
But then you go back. Rubio's really finding his groove as the year went on there. But then you go to the Thunder. Is Russ going to be a year better? He's 30. Maybe not. Maybe he's going to be the same. Is Paul George going to be a year better? He should. He should. Steven Adams should be a year better. So maybe your point has some.
I'm with Jason. For me, and this is not, I'm not being a homer when I say this. I really,
Homer.
no, I'm really not. I genuinely not. Because I really like the Jazz, and but for me, dude, what they've got going on seems like it's in such a precarious position.
Right.
I think you're gonna have to. Donovan's a stud, and there's no doubt about it, and he'll ball out, and he'll be better next season. But
It's annoying how much I love that guy.
well, but here's my thing, do you really want to ride Rubio? Do you want to be excited about him and Ingles?
I think so.
Okay,
think it
but
works
here's
for
the
them.
thing: they're where everyone is talking about how this team is, the Jazz are going to be better, and you look at how much of a dumpster fire the Thunder were last season, because that's what they were. They were a dumpster fire that was just burned really bright at times.
And it's crazy to
Look
say that.
what they did against Houston, though. I mean, dude, all those things, the fundamental things that the Thunder were flailing at executing. I mean, the Jazz were able to exploit that against the Rockets. There was no doubt. I mean, there were a couple times where you're like, hey, don't count us out. We're not going to get swept. And it's just okay, I get it, but just people that are putting them in the upper echelon, I'm not there yet. I'm going to have to see it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think just watching them tear the Thunder apart offensively is going to stick with me. And then I see how...
I'm with you.
Robertson, for sure, is a huge answer to the Donovan Mitchell problem.
Yeah.
You would think. But, then it goes back to, will he be 100%?
But is that the reason they lost, though? Because Mitchell, like you say...
no, I mean, that's not the same
maybe
reason.
Robertson helps a little bit, but dude, when you got Melo doing what he's doing, Paul George going 2 of 14 or whatever it was the last game, the Thunder were just
we played terrible.
flawed in construction, and I just think I think that the Thunder have really patched a lot of those holes.
And I think a huge weapon there in that matchup too is Schröder.
100%.
When you throw a guy like him, and the backups have to go on the court. Well, Schröder, he's not a backup, man.
Yeah.
That guy's not a backup.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, he is, but he isn't. You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna be.
Guys, I'm amped on Schröder. I'm really amped. I'm putting my cards down. Maybe you guys can play this clip of me saying this.
I do
It
wonder.
sucks later.
I do wonder if there's gonna be a learning curve, and I don't think that's the right way to put it, but just an adjustment period for Schröder.
Yeah, there's a feeling out process there, right? Especially outside of just basketball in general, Dennis Schroeder is playing on the same team as the guy that he looks at, his favorite player, the guy that he wants to be. That's kind of that's a thing that I think it could get in his mind a little bit. Maybe affect the way he's playing, or it could also fuel him. It could be like, look, I'm on Russell Westbrook's team. I gotta play out this contract.
I think you're right.
I gotta earn this money once my contract's over, and I gotta impress Russ. So it kind of goes both ways.
That's almost. I'm glad you brought up the contract thing, because he's not playing for a contract because he is sealed up for the next 3 years. But that almost is another reason for him to just chill and play ball. You know, that's a team. That's the thing that this team did not do last year. They'd never just chilled and played basketball.
Exactly. And that to me is the big thing here. Is that it's that being able to breathe and let's just play basketball and have fun and enjoy each other. That sounded weird, but that's a thing they could do.
Play basketball.
Someone in the chat made a good point too. I wonder too. Do you think that
Who was it?
the Wash said that we underrated the Jazz and that's why we lost? I almost do wonder if with Melo,
possible.
with Paul George, because here's the thing: as far as egos go, you've got like different kind of like personalities. Westbrook is I'm just gonna go. Paul George is kind of like, now I'm coming into my own. Like, I'm going to do this thing. I just have my free agency. And Melo kind of has this, I'm better than all of you guys. Like, I'm, and so I
And
almost
Westbrook has that same mindset too.
Yeah.
I think so, but he
Especially
doesn't
against-
play the way that Melo does with the same
Sure.
attitude.
But like
But-
guys like Rubio.
Right.
Oof,
he
yeah.
doesn't.
When he
doesn't,
sees Rubio on the other side of the
No,
court,
sure.
he's going to
He's
sure,
not even a
he does.
person.
No, you're right. You're so right. But I'm just saying, like, he doesn't just quit. Like
Right.
Melo will just not try sometimes because he just thinks, I'll make up for it.
But you could totally, it'd be fair to blame Russell Westbrook for that game. Was it game 2 or game 3?
was game
They all ran together.
It was game
terrible.
2.
Where Rubio just tore him up.
Yeah, because that was the one where he's like, he won't do that again, and then
Yeah. That's
everyone's
right
like,
after we
oh
laughed at
God,
him.
no.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
he's
no.
gonna like just
Right.
be fixated.
Yeah. And then the other side, going back to the Schröder thing, like, is there going to be an adjustment period for him? Well, what if he comes in and there's none?
I don't
What
think
if he
there's
comes in?
gonna be.
He comes in, subs right in the game. He's on the court with. When is he going to sub in the game though? That's another conversation. But say he subs in the game and it's him, Abrinas, Ferguson, Grant, and Noel, and he comes in. He's like, this is just like being on the Hawks. Goes to town and he goes to work and he's playing against backups now instead of starting lineups.
And those guys that on the OKC bench have been struggling to find maybe their shot and their confidence,
And no one to help them.
and no
find
one
it.
to help them, and maybe all of a sudden, Abrinas is like, oh, this shit's awesome. Like, I've got a guy that's like taking pressure off me because he's pulling people into the paint, and I'm gonna he's or maybe you've got Noel, who I still, like I've said, I think that he's going to be really effective. I think there could be a really cool bench identity, of which there was none last season. There was no identity for the whole team, but the bench was like a missing person. Like, what is this, dude? Like, who are these people?
That's where I start getting really excited about this team, and I said it on the podcast this summer before. When we start talking about this bench, man, that's where that ceiling, that's where that bar just continues to raise for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I think a really underrated thing here, going back to, like, could this team really hit the ground running, especially when you're talking about Schröder, is look at what they've done this offseason. Look at the time they spent together, the basketball that they've been playing. When they get to camp, it's going to feel so natural already, just because most of these guys have spent so much time together, and they're hungry. They don't want to sit there and pretend like what happened last year was good enough for them, because it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
The expectations are much higher. The expectations of themselves are much higher.
Right.
So after all this work that they've put in, going into training camp and looking around, be like, we've been doing this for the last 3 months. This is no different. We're just going to walk into October, and it's going to feel like we've been doing this for
a little brighter, but
exactly.
it's the
But
same
we've
thing.
been doing this for a while. And I hope they all have that mindset. And I hope they go into training camp and into the season with that framework. Just be like, look, let's come together. Let's be a team. Let's be a cohesive unit. That's going to be a lot better than just trying to like figure out what one person does really well.
That's a good point. And sorry, Jason, I'll let you go after this. Look at who left the team. Look at who they got rid of, so to speak. Kyle Singler,
Gone.
Dakari Johnson,
Gone.
Josh Eustace, Daniel Hamilton, PJ Dozier,
Yeah.
Nick Collison, Corey Brewer.
But those,
Corey Brewer is the best of those players.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
doesn't that was the fat on
yeah, they trimmed it all up.
they trimmed all the fat off and they improved the team.
And also, too,
And Carmelo Anthony, by the
I
way.
was going to say, wait, what about
to
the
your
other guy?
point, though, to your
That was
point,
a little
and
too
Justin.
literal, fat.
No, you got. Oh, damn. Great guy.
Almost had the old snarf
No, I
happen right
had
there.
more, that
Great
wasn't-
guy there.
Great guy.
He's
Oh my
such a good
God.
guy. He's such a good guy.
Good guy.
Both of you guys kind of like played
Great
on
guy!
the point, played on the point that I was gonna make. Oh God, dude, don't spill
That
beer on your
almost
scissors
went
and
all-
scotch Oklahoma City shirt.
That almost went all over my computer.
Subtle.
Yeah.
Subtle ads.
What were you just sorry?
No, I was gonna say you guys really played on a point that I think is important.
Yeah,
Think
we
about going into last season, how many new players we had. We had so obviously Paul George, we had Carmelo Anthony, we had Felton, We had Patterson. We had Ferguson. We had a ton of heavy rotation, and
Some of
dude,
whom thought they were going to start.
Guys, we're
and
winning
then-
60. We're talking ourselves into it.
Here's
First
the thing.
place.
I'm not arguing. I think the Thunder's ceiling for their regular season is way
First
higher
place.
than their playoffs. So when I say like second seed, I'm not projecting Western Conference Finals necessarily because the playoffs is such a different animal.
Right.
But I think the Thunder will be a very good regular season team next season.
I think a big part of that, and we're hanging on this, and we're taking this conversation down places I didn't foresee.
That's what
it
I like
going.
about it.
Me too. It's
fun.
Paul George. How good is Paul George going to be? How consistent is he going to be?
Yeah.
Because that's huge, right? If he's consistent, if he scores 24, 25, 26 a game, and he does it in a
damn, that'd be
consistent
awesome.
way, that's when this team hits their ceiling, right?
I
Yeah.
agree.
Because
Absolutely.
we know what Russ we're going to get, right?
And we know what defensive Paul George we're going to get.
And-
And he's always the same.
Yeah.
It's just that offensive side. Is he
And
going to bring it?
Obviously, health, injuries, and
Yeah, right.
everything like that. If this team stays healthy, consistent Paul George takes them to where they want to go.
If you can
Agreed.
take Melo out of the conversation, we saw exactly what peak Thunder can technically be when they were rolling. They were hitting on all cylinders, and then Dre got hurt.
Yeah.
So if they can find that and kind of what Utah did is catch lightning in a bottle, if they can find a way to do that right out of the gates and just get so far ahead of the number that all they have to do is kind of at least coast,
Right.
then
Right, 'cause-
that puts them right where they want to be.
And that's something we kind of touched on a little bit before, is that first part of their season, that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Like coming right out of the gates, if you can get a great start and get a little cushion there, and then that way that much more difficult part of the second half of the season, it's not as bad.
It's so much easier to catch the Warriors in October and November and catch them when
'Cause they're
they're
asleep.
when they're still the sleeping giant, because they're sleepwalking through the regular season at this point. We all know it's happening. They're winning championships. They don't
They're
have
coaching
to
them
think
on
about
their own selves.
Yeah,
I
they
think
don't
you're right.
They don't have to care about October, November, December.
You know what? That's actually a really good point. I think you hit a nail on the head there. We saw LeBron do it. I think not last season, but the season before. I think it was kind of this. We knew they were coasting, and and that was the first time I'd
LeBron's
ever
coasted for 5 straight
Yeah,
years.
he
Well, but
He's
they were
really good at
openly
it, though.
doing it. They
Sure.
were kind of like
So
not
good at
super trying. He was sitting out games.
Yeah.
He was resting stuff, and it was like one of the first times I'd seen him do that. He did it, I think, the last season that he was with Miami. But I do wonder if, to your point, like maybe they're not the one seed. I mean, maybe
they weren't the
maybe
one
that-
seed last year, though.
Well, right, and that's what I wonder is just even
Doesn't
though
matter.
they made some obviously the the pickup of Boogie, like I with him not coming soon, and like maybe you're right.
I mean,
Here's where. Go ahead.
oh no, sorry. If I'm a Warriors fan, like or even if I'm part of that
You would
organization,
not be talking to me.
No,
right now.
I know, but hypothetically,
Get out.
Look, if I don't care if they're the 8 seed.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't matter.
feel good about them.
Right.
being-
Yeah,
like
no,
I
I'm
don't
with
care
you.
where they.
It's like LeBron. Like if he gets the 8, he's
But also,
got a great chance of still getting out of it.
but they were the 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have home court versus the Rockets. They got taken to a game 7 when Chris Paul got hurt.
No, you're
now
right.
that might be something.
Yeah.
That team, a guy like Draymond Green, some of these great players in the NBA, they find dumb reasons to motivate themselves, and that can be one of those reasons. Be like, let's have a good regular season. Let's go get that number 1 seed.
Right.
Right? And then, not only that, but on the other side of the bracket, in the East, you got the Celtics, man, and that team, that might be a team that can compete with the Warriors.
Yeah.
In my opinion. When
The
I look at
Celtics?
that,
Just
yeah.
because they're like
With-
so
with the health?
disciplined and
defense,
defensive wise, but they've also got Kyrie and Gordon Hayward.
that are coming back.
Hayward's the thing. We just
Tatum,
don't know what
Brown,
that.
yeah,
Tatum,
those
they'll be-
dudes are incredible.
And their bench is good, man. That's
Yeah,
That's
no,
where I
I'm-
think the Warriors better be on their game, or they might get
Because
clipped.
that team like executes, you could almost say as well or close to as well as the Warriors does. That they're like the one team in the league that, other than the Spurs, because they are
Well coached,
course.
right? Everyone
But
loves
yeah,
Brad Stevens.
Like you just do what you're supposed to do every
Sure.
time.
Guys, I hate to be this guy, but I'm just saying, like,
Celtics winning the champ-
If
no.
Boogie comes back at even 80%, 75%, I just don't see how it is possible.
I'm
Kick 'em
with
out of
you.
the league.
I will not pick against the Warriors until I see it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the Celtics team, I think, has the goods. I
Yeah.
think they can.
No, I'm with you.
I think they can really match up with that Warriors
And you want to
team.
hope for that because it makes a good league. Like, it's not
Hey,
fun
at least
when you
it's not
don't
going to
see
be.
it.
And I'm hoping this Thunder team can match up with
Yeah.
them because, like, I was going to bring this up earlier, but go back and look at. I think it was the second Thunder Warriors game
You talking about when we beat that ass?
in Golden State.
Oh, yeah, I remember
in
that.
Golden State, I believe.
Yeah.
Carmelo got hurt like in the first 4 minutes on some horrible shot he took.
Thank you, Lord.
Left.
Which one was that?
Which one? And it left the game, and then the Thunder just went off. And I think that was the same game that Paul George crossed up KD and popped a 3 in his face. Oh, it was just so
Glory.
beautiful. Like, just, I mean, the Thunder were just, the pace was high. They were, you know, they were playing how Billy Donovan and Sam Presti are talking about how they want to play going forward, at least as far as the speed of the game, just keeping them moving, defensive pressure. Everything went perfect in that game, and that's what you want to see out of this Thunder team.
And that's what's going to happen this season.
Oh, I hope
The
you're right.
whole time.
Let's talk about offense.
Offense.
And by the way,
should we?
yes,
Okay.
because by the way, I've already decided that let's just go.
We're just going to keep going.
Let's just keep going.
I like it.
Let's go away
It's fun.
from our what our original plan was, because this is good.
Psych!
Yeah, I like
We're
where
getting into
going.
some good stuff here.
Damn it! I had a really good story too.
We can bring it up at the end.
If we have time at the end, we'll do it.
If
No,
it's
it's-
weird now,
no,
it'll
it's-
be
it's
weird
fine.
next
Or
week.
we'll
too.
just go live as we're tearing down, and we'll just let people in on it.
Ooh, that's fun.
All right, offense. Last year, they were ranked 10th. And that was a number that climbed throughout the season. If you remember, they were really bad
So
to
bad.
start the season offensively, and then they just kind of climbed as defense fell. So they were 10th last year. Let's put the number at 8.5. Over being better, under being worse.
Under.
Ooh, interesting. Why's that?
I'd like 10 from last year. The loss of Melo, while it seems really great and everything, like you're also talking about a guy that could shoot.
16, 18
Well,
points a game.
granted, he didn't shoot well.
He demanded
last year,
attention and
but
everything.
exactly, and I think right now the biggest question mark for me is still shooting. Who's going to put up shots and when's it going to go in? So I'm a little down on the offense right now. I'm super high on the defense, but I'm down on the offense. So
Right.
I like under, but I still like that 10 because I think they're going to push the pace, and I think it's going to make up a little bit of that ground.
So let's lump these together then. If you're going to go under there, I was going to set the defensive rank at 4.5. They were 10th last year in that as well. They were 10th in both categories, and that, like I said, I think they were top 5 before Robertson went down.
Yeah.
And then they fell to 10th. So let's put that number at 4.5.
Over.
So you think they're going to be spectacular defensively and around 10th offensively? That's a damn good team right
So
there.
I'm actually doing the same, but like that, my over and my under on both of those is like very slight. I'm kind of just going like 9th offensively and basically 4th defensively. I don't think they're gonna like. I actually
Is 4th a
like,
disappointment defensively on this team though?
I think
No,
so.
not at
not
all.
pretty awesome.
I think so.
Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of agree because I'm with Justin on this. I think shooting is such a huge question mark that you're going to have to make up for it somewhere. And I think the way you make up for
Yeah.
that is defensively. Because
But I think they have the chance to be a top 2 defensive
I think
team
the
for
Thunder
sure.
on
They should
paper
be.
should be the number 1 defensive team
Well,
in the league.
Second,
You got it.
To who?
Celtics.
I don't
I
know
think
though.
with the Celtics,
I
the
don't
Warriors-
know that though. I'm just saying,
You
like
do-
when
if
you
you
look
do-
at Paul George, Robertson, you look at what Patterson could do at the new position that he's playing. You look at what Adams developed. That trio or that quintet.
Quattro.
Okay, I'm
Quattro.
whatever.
Quartet.
Quartet.
Damn
That's
it.
the
it
word.
starts to
should've
get
known that.
Spanish at a
It
certain
does,
number.
dude. I'm just saying, like that.
Siete.
That and,
didn't know how to say
and then
that word.
Westbrook, like the way that he plays with those defenders, like the way that he starts to kind of shine defensively when he's not having to be.
Plays the old safety position.
I mean, kind of.
Same with
I think-
Paul George to a certain extent.
We
They roam.
were the number 1 defense for a little bit during the season, but then we obviously started to slip. I'd be interested to see.
But
where
I
that
also think
corresponds.
sometimes with that number 1 defense, it went hand in hand with how bad the offense was.
Yeah.
Because when that offense is just
slugging, you've got to do
slugging,
something.
yeah, and like it just kind of like makes the game all murky, and like the other teams
Mucks it up.
Yeah,
I have us at 5. I have us at a top 5 offense, and I don't. That doesn't necessarily mean.
So you're gonna have the Celtics, you're gonna have the Jazz that are gonna be really good defensively. The Spurs are typically really good defensively, although they just added
I'm talking
DeMar
about
to-
offense.
Did you say a top 5
Oh, okay.
offense?
Offense, yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I
That's-
do.
That's way high
But
for me.
But when you talk about
Who's
what's
shoot- who's
hard,
shooting that ball?
Well, think about this though. When you're talking about the proficiency of an offense, like when we think about it, we think about shooting. We think about, but I'm talking about points scored. I'm talking about points scored on a possession. I just think you have a clear identity here. They're not going to be a good shooting team, and they're going to have nights where it looks really bad. But I just think now with the composition that you have, I think you get those points, and I think I think that the Thunder will have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense.
And think how much it helps the offense if this team gets to the line and makes their free throws.
That would
Yeah.
be
They were
so
They
incredible.
were 10th last year, being 29th in free throw percentage, 71.5% from the free throw line last year.
It
you
was
raised that number to.
bad.
I bet you raised that number to 75%, and that offense last year is somewhere around 8 or
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Bumps them up quite a bit.
You know what I mean? If they can make their free throws, you got guys that get to the line and Russ and Paul George and Schroeder and Grant.
If they just
and
play
Adams.
basketball,
Yeah.
Yeah,
stop thinking. Shoot your free throws.
You know, it
be
sure
together
helps
and
when
enjoy
you're
each other.
Enjoy each other.
It
I'm trying to say.
Well, there's the title.
There it is.
Yeah.
We
Enjoy
found
each
I
each
was,
other.
just, I was just about to write it down, but no need now.
I think it really does. I mean, dude, you can't understate how much those guys were probably in their own heads, dude. Like the idea that, Paul George may leave, like, Melo's like, I need to get my respect because I'm leaving the Knicks, and you got all these role players around. Like, dude, I think that you do have like kind of this. Okay, let's breathe and just take our shots. Like, this is the squad.
Russ
So-
knew he wasn't leaving though.
So if I went, yeah, that's true.
true.
So if I went around the table and I said, offense, give me the offensive rank and give me the defensive rank. What are your numbers?
I said 8 and 4.
8 offense, 4 defense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 5 and 2.
We're good.
That's
that
like
does-
a 1 seed though.
That-
That's a 1 seed.
The Warriors were
amazing.
1 and 1, were they not?
69
1 and
win
2.
team.
The
Hold on.
Warriors were
Look
1
it
and 2, and I thought that the Rockets were 3 and 2. I thought, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'll look it up. You might be right.
I might be
Justin,
wrong.
what's your numbers?
Just like what they used to teach you at driving school, 10 and 2. Even
Oh,
though they don't,
that's dangerous now. You'll
they
break your
don't,
face.
yeah, they do not teach that
Look
anymore.
out.
I think
Look out, kids.
I think I'll be somewhere around 9 and 4. What'd you say?
I
Jason?
said 8 and 4.
8 and 4. Yeah, I'll be somewhere around 9 and 4. Last year, first offense, Golden State, and Golden State was 9th defense.
Oh, okay.
Houston was second offense, and they were
27th?
6th defense.
Okay.
It's
I think Golden
surprises
State
me.
the year before was really
Yep.
close.
Yep,
And
that-
they were
that's
close in offense and defense.
That's probably what you're thinking
They
about.
and
tried
then
hard
and then
that time.
Houston, I guess, last season. Yeah, guys, I don't think that means that the Thunder are gonna win a title. I just think on paper, that's all regular season shit.
To me, though, like if you say that second and fifth,
if
that's
that happens-
a title contending team. Though.
Oh, I absolutely think the Thunder's ceiling is a title.
They're
I
up there.
really don't think that's not real. Like, I think that's realistic, just the way they played Golden State, the way they played Houston.
I hope you're right.
But
I really do. It's
their
hard to.
floor is a second round exit, I think.
Yeah.
It would be catastrophic. A first round exit or missing the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
would be absolute catastrophe. You find a new coach, maybe you find a new GM.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
People will
whoa, whoa.
people will heads will roll if they miss the playoffs. Like, people will be fired, not one person. People will be
I don't
fired.
know about that particular guy. Maybe that just won the coach.
I'm just telling you
Fire
right
the
now.
Mop Boy or something.
Stick it.
I
stick
love
it, old Bill.
Presty. You will find no bigger Presty stand than this guy. But I'm just
But
telling you,
chop
if
his head
the Thunder miss
Love
the
him, but kill him.
playoffs,
Get him out of here.
dude, no way, dude.
All right, let's do this one. 3-point percentage. This is something
Oh, God.
that we have just talked about.
Dear God.
The shooting on this team. Last year, they were 24th in the league at 35.4%. The shooting on paper has gotten worse. So I'm going to set the ranking at 25.5. Very bad. That's a very bad ranking. That would have
Very,
been
very bad.
That I don't know what that would be. That would be somewhere around low 35,
Mm-hmm.
high 34. Definitely below league average. What you got?
You want a confused hot take?
Yes.
Ooh, I like it.
Over.
Think they overachieve.
Well, so it's not necessarily like an overachievement. I think it's one, you're eliminating some of the bad shots because there's not a certain player that will take the bad shots on this roster anymore.
He's probably
Now
a
Russ
good
is still
guy.
on this roster as well, but I think the shot selection as far as from beyond the arc is significantly better than it was last
I
season.
agree with that.
So I think,
a good
like
point.
ergo, you're going to have better percentage that way.
Yep.
So I think they end up a little bit better 3-point wise.
And to your point, if Rush just shoots the ball a little bit better
Yeah.
from 3.
Which he's been working on.
If Grant shoots the ball better from 3.
And Paul George, dude.
If it
Again,
brings-
I
if-
can't.
I don't know if
I
you
can't-
can expect Paul George to shoot the ball better.
29% from the All-Star break.
But
I
40
can't-
but 40 for the year.
Fine, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like,
That's-
that is significant, and I think that's a couple points. I think on the number,
But,
if you
but here's the thing. Paul George was second in the league in 3-pointers made last year.
Yeah.
makes is not the thing for me. I'm talking about. Are you talking about makes or percentages?
No, percentage, but here's
But-
the
because
thing.
Melo hit a lot of threes, and he was not great from the.
No, I
three.
understand that, but that's when you shoot a lot from 3, it's hard to just get your percentages way up there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're shooting a lot of contested ones.
Yeah.
Like Paul George isn't going to get 9 uncontested threes a game.
But he definitely took a cliff dive after the All-Star break.
Definitely.
I'm saying,
That's
I'm
because
just saying
I don't
that-
know if you watched that 3-point contest, but he was terrible.
That's where it all started.
Dude,
Yeah, it
someone
was.
should bar him from that. That should.
Yeah.
I hope that was part of the 3+1.
I don't know if it was just a matter of things, the law of averages coming into play.
Regression to the mean.
Right.
Well,
so,
and Pacers fans will
Science.
tell you that he kind of does that almost every year. He
Yeah.
has like a regression period,
and that
after
goes
the
back to
All-Star
what I
break.
was saying.
Yeah.
If he can stay consistent, man, that's
what I'm
is
talking
such
about.
a huge key for this team.
I'm not talking about shooting 40% on the year, but I'm saying if you can shoot 38, if you can make those averages pop by not just going nuclear in the worst way after the All-Star break,
Yeah.
I think that helps. And I like what Jason said too, just like the shot selection is going to be a lot, or Justin said that, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's I think that's a really good point by Justin.
Good point, Justin.
I tend to go over here because how often does it work out where something seems so obvious that it just happens? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it just seems like one of those things like, oh, this team's so bad at shooting, they're not going to be able to shoot. And then they'll go out there and be like, wow, this team's actually shooting pretty well.
Yeah. I think with Russ working on a shot, and hopefully one thing I think you had mentioned earlier is Abrinas getting a better looks due to Schröder's
Yeah, no, I think that's
speed
absolutely
and
a
penetration.
thing.
Like that, hopefully that'll help out. Yeah. And so I'm going to go over at least a smidge.
That a boy.
I think
Let's
over.
all be positive.
I think over.
Polys.
I think they'll.
Positive polys.
That's a good positive pod.
Their ceiling is the top 20. I think they'll be 20th. That's my.
What if they just sneak up there? And I mean,
First.
we've been saying it since we started this podcast. If Russ just shot 35% from 3, oh my god,
much better.
Like that solidifies him as a top 4 player in the league if he shoots 35% from 3.
Well, and that's to my point about the offense. Like I think they'll have a highly ranked offense, but not an efficient highly ranked. I think, and then again, then you're talking about, is it the most efficient offense? Are you talking about points scored? Are you talking about? And so for me, I think the Thunder will score.
You're
in
making
the
me
top
J.R.
5.
Smith over here a lot.
I'm saying I think the Thunder will score in the top 5. But if you're talking about efficiency, obviously they
Talking
won't
about
be.
efficiency.
No, well, you are talking about
I'm
efficiency.
talking about points per possession.
Okay,
I'm talking
well,
about
so, but I don't know. Like, I think that it can get confusing, though, to be fair, because if you're talking about are they scoring the basket? Like, yeah, I think the Thunder will find ways to get, but I'm saying they're not going to get it from shooting. And so if you're looking at like the guys like the blog boys on like 538, they're like, oh my God, James Harden shoots the basket and makes a 3-pointer before he even comes up the court. It's not going to be that team. But
No, for sure.
I
I
think
hope that's how all of them sound.
there's no way they don't sound that way.
Something I feel like I'm kind of gleaning from what you're saying is like you're definitely saying like their points per 100 possessions. You
Right.
think that's definitely going to be higher just
Right.
because they're going to play faster.
Yep.
They're going to get downhill a lot.
Right. But I'm saying like if you're gonna like who's the more efficient team, who do you trust with open looks, who do you trust with shooting? Yeah, it's not gonna be the Thunder.
I think this team might lead the league in free throw attempts per game,
No, I'm not
I like that.
I wouldn't be surprised by that at all.
which is
old
huge.
Jeremy?
They honestly need to be top 5 in that category. When you have
Schroeder.
you have Jeremy
Yeah.
Grant, who's going to be more aggressive and have the ball in
Russ.
his hands more often. You have Russ, who last year didn't get to the line at the rate that he got to the line the year
This
prior.
all depends on whether referees suck or not this year.
Good point.
I'm
Also,
I'm just kidding, guys.
which regression
were
to the
kinda bad,
mean, as Justin referred to.
They're 1 year better. The refs, maybe, probably not.
That's a good point.
By the way,
We had some new rules last year, and we've got some new ones this year. But I thought we have like 2 or 3 that were pretty significant. The free throws was a huge one, just because everybody had like their routine.
Right.
Eh.
Yeah, but
there was a
that's
couple
other
such
ones overhyped.
an excuse.
Maybe.
Why
I don't
does
know.
one team just fail at that?
Yeah.
I
But
don't know.
It doesn't
The-
apply to everyone else.
And maybe that's an exposure of your lack of prowess as a shooter. Like if you rely really heavily on just repetition rather than your skill as a shooter.
I mean, they teach you from a young age, muscle memory at the free throw line.
maybe
but
they
that's
didn't
just-
teach Westbrook though, dude.
They
Of course
did.
they did.
Maybe they didn't, dude.
What you got here, Doug?
Maybe they did.
before you move on, I just wanted to say A+ segue by bringing up the
Oh, yeah, no,
that
that
you
was
think
good.
that the Thunder will shoot the most free throws this season.
Funny that you thought it was going to be a segue, but it's not.
Psych. That's the second psych
pull
this
the,
podcast.
Pull the rug out from under me.
Because I'm actually going a different direction here. Because I think we need to get it moving.
I like it.
I want to get into the fun ones, the fun over-unders, the weird ones. And we have these some suggestions from a couple weeks ago.
I feel dumb now.
Kyle Van Dyke. no, you were right. It would have been perfect. And
But
I'm the dumb
because
one.
you said that, Switch the whole trajectory of time, moving
what it was, yeah.
forward.
Kyle Van Dyke at Bandito 1986. He asks, what's the total number of technical fouls in the Oklahoma City Thunder versus Golden State Warriors 3 games next season? Over under 6. That doesn't make sense. So I said 6.5. I raised it a half. So you got 3 games. You're talking at least 2 a game. The number's at 6.5. How many techs? Is it still going to be heated like it's been in the past, or are we over that?
I think it's going to still be heated. I don't know if it's going to get that high.
I hope it's heated.
I hope it is too, but I'm going to say
go
under.
Yeah, I was going to go a 1 under. But I think there's going to be some like a brawl or 2 up in there.
What do you think? You think it's still heated, Justin?
What? No, I don't. I really like. I'd love for that storyline to perpetuate itself, but I think it's finally died down.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I actually do hope that it's gone.
I think
I'm
you're right.
tired of talking about that one guy.
Well, that and I really do think that the Warriors will figure it the hell out after last year.
Maybe they got
like maybe just calm down, and especially Kevin Durant and
maybe get a therapist
and Draymond Green.
That's the thing is I don't have faith in Kevin Durant stopping this.
So let me throw out just an
That's a
interesting.
good point.
Well, here's why I think that it will. Kevin Durant, the heat that he brings and the attitude and the boiling over always hinges around that thing he's insecure about. So when they're losing,
Everything.
well, right, but I'm saying specifically his thing with Kevin Durant when they're losing, him clapping at Westbrook, and you're looking at him, you're just like, who is this guy?
Oh,
here's what I
God,
think. Here's what I think, though.
Is there? Hold on, before you
Go,
continue.
go,
is
shoot.
there a better moment from last year when Westbrook stole the ball from him, knocked it out of bounds,
Yeah.
Right.
and then just walked away?
Oh, there's not a better
shaking
moment.
the head with a mean,
top one moment from
with a
last year.
disgusted look on his face.
Oh, I
Oh, it's
love
so
it.
good.
That face is perfect.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, there's that and the
Anyways,
PG crossover. That
Well, here's what I think.
top 1 and 2.
I think KD has sensed the narrative because he's usually like 10 months behind the narrative that what everybody thinks.
At
Like
the
it
very
takes
least.
him 10 months to like understand. And I think now he realizes how embarrassing it is that he's always mad. And I think this season it will be his mission to pretend like nothing bothers him.
You might be right.
And so I think in
Sounds
these
like
games,
something he would do.
I'm just saying, I think in these games, he will literally have superhuman self-control because he will be so insecure and he will not want to. He's watched that GIF probably more than anyone on the planet.
Probably.
And so I think that he will play those games and just be like, I don't care if we lose by 50. You know what? I love them.
So how many? So you're gonna go under?
I'm gonna say under.
On court beefs with KD. 1.5. You got 3 games.
Oh, definitely
I'm going
at
over.
least one. I mean, yeah, I would.
And by beefs, I mean, carried out where the refs are having to get a little involved and say, get back to your areas.
Him and Adams maybe getting into it a smidge.
I think beef with Kevin Durant, but I think less beef started by Kevin Durant. I think you'll have guys like Robertson or like Adams or whatever that they haven't had their fill yet, and so they may be like, oh
No,
yeah,
Robertson
fuck you,
went
bro.
forehead to forehead with
That's
him
what I'm saying.
2
I
years
think you
ago.
might have
Great
a couple
moment.
guys that are like, hey,
Yeah.
by the way, I'm still here and I haven't forgiven you.
Here's a fun one. Sam Presti trades. This is a guy who's traded more than any other GM in the entire NBA over the last 5 years. I'm going to set it at 1.5. Hold on. The reason I set that number there is because I think he's been preaching continuity, right? He preached it from last year going into this year. I don't think he'll make a trade if it's what needs to be done. If it improves the team, he will do it. 1.5. What we got here?
I'm going under at 1 being the most trades. I just think I could see him moving some of those down the line pieces, like maybe he packages Ferguson into something, or like some of the guys that aren't key rotational players, and for something that could be like there's that Courtney Lee thing floating around, something like that. Where
What's
you, like,
more
bring in-
likely, trades that happen because the team is playing really well and they're kind of beefing it up even
It's like
more.
they need one more piece to
maybe
get
like
there.
really beefing it up, and they're like, God, this veteran's available. Everyone's obsessed with Courtney Lee. Let's say Courtney Lee's available, and they're like, you know what, we're in second. Let's say we're in Jacob's scenario here. We're in second in the conference. We're a couple games back from the Warriors. We feel really good about this team. We think we can compete with this team. Let's go get Courtney Lee. We give up Ferguson and whatever to make the money work, and we do this. Is that more likely to warrant a trade for Sam Presti, or is it if this team's sagging back to like the 5th spot and he's trying to improve it?
I think because of Sam Presti, I genuinely don't think one outweighs the other. I think he will just do it. I think the answer
Whatever
is
needs
yes.
to be done.
Yes. Here's the thing. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say 3. And the reason is,
Wow.
well,
Didn't
here,
know we had that much
hear me
stuff.
out.
Wow.
Well, we don't. How dare you? So I think that he will make a move, no matter what. I think he will make a move. And because there's just too much stuff on the bench right now that just doesn't make sense even on paper. Like something's got to give. I think there will be one impact trade, and I think there will be 2 financial, like long-term trades that will be like, oh, I see why they did that. It makes more sense. The contract's tradable, whatever it is. So I think one will be like, this makes a difference on the roster, and I think you might have 1 or 2 of the small salaries move, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense because we've got a luxury tax in heaven.
That's interesting.
So I think your second scenario is the more likely. I think that if Sam Presti's going to pull the trigger on a trade at this point, it's because they're lagging back. If they're up to the 2 and they're rolling on all cylinders, then they're just going to do what they do, like what they would like to do.
You don't want to mess with anything.
Have that 15th roster spot open and explore the buyout market.
Our injuries just scare me, though. That's my thing.
Sure.
I'm with you, and I agree with you because, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But if
Right.
you got guys that aren't playing, like, let's pretend Ferguson just, like, explodes, and it's like, holy shit, this is who they said he was going to be, and here he is. And Abrinas isn't seeing the floor. That's too much money. And to me, I could see Presti being like, hey, let's see. He's doing right by Abrinas. He's doing right by the Thunder. I don't know. For me, I just, like, the guy has shown the thing of just like, I don't know that he looks at a roster and says, well, are we doing good or bad? I think he's just constantly like math on paper. Just like, we can make it better and
Right.
I think he will try. So I don't know. You could be right though.
Next one. I like this one. This was submitted by McChicken at Cody McChicken. Over under 0.5 times we see a lineup that consists of the 3 point guards being Russell Westbrook, Dennis Schroeder, and Raymond Felton. 0.5 times. Are we going to see that lineup?
Under.
Never see that lineup.
I don't think so.
I say under 2.
I don't think so, Tim.
Over.
I go over too.
I don't like it.
I don't put anything past Billy Donovan. He will try it all.
The old Tinkerman, but
Yeah.
I just don't see a point in ever putting those 3 guys on the floor at the same time.
If Billy Donovan had 2 more point guards on this roster, he
Put
would
them
have
all
a
out
5
there.
point guard roster lineup just to do what he could.
Should we make a wager that it happens right now? I feel like it happens. This
Sure.
side of the table versus that side.
Will we
I'll
have to
tattoo
feed a whole.
I will tattoo a small black dot somewhere on my body that's visible.
I think you should have to get a hamburger on you for Raymond.
Oh man,
Get a
dude, I
hamburger.
love Raymond Felton. It hurts
We have
me.
to eat a whole chicken strip meal and soda.
I'm with Jason.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait,
What
so,
about
sounds
Raymond
enticing.
Felton's
And
face
good.
so like you have
on
to
my back?
You have to dip
really
every
dip.
bite in the
Yes,
soda?
every single bite.
That's tough, man.
That's upsetting.
You hate to see it.
And we'll,
Hold
Yeah,
on.
I hate to see
Hold
it.
on. Wait.
And we'll go with Canes.
Wait. So if the lineups happen with 3 point guards, if they do happen one time, Jacob and Jason are gonna have to eat a whole chicken, 4-piece, 3-piece, 4-piece,
This was a 3-piece tonight. We'll keep going.
3-piece chicken tender meal.
trying to die.
Each or share one. I think each.
Each is
Each
fine.
probably works. I don't.
Every
want,
bite.
Mama didn't raid
I
no
don't wanna-
dipped
bitch.
in
Yeah, I'm not trying
soda.
to double dip with this guy.
Yeah, no.
Do we
Ugh,
get
don't
to
wanna do
pick?
that.
Do we get to pick where the chicken strips are from?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Well, are you
chicken
gonna
strips.
pick somewhere bad?
Well, like where? Where
Are you gonna
I
go?
don't know, like Loves.
Canes.
Oh no!
where it's just under
I
the
will
heat
not
lamp?
shit my I will not shit my pants for you, sir.
See, okay, here I'm going with Canes.
I'd shit my
I
pants
really
for you,
like
dude.
Canes.
If we just as a group
but-
chose Canes, that's
yeah.
fine.
But I think it would be more sad for you guys to eat that knowing that you're ruining really good
Yeah,
chicken
I'm with
strips.
that.
No, I agree.
Let's
Yeah.
settle on Canes.
Yeah.
Canes it is.
All right.
Canes is
And
fine.
if it doesn't happen, you guys.
Hands in.
Yeah.
Why is this
It's a bet.
This is happening.
All right.
This is real.
Lazai!
Bet. All right. Next.
I don't know what that noise was that I made.
Hazoi is what it sounded like.
What are we at? What are we at time wise here?
We're a little
sitting
over.
at,
All right. Let's do this last one here. This one is submitted by. Hold on. Sam Finesti at the Thunder Geeks. The Rockets. Let's put it over under at the Rockets getting tired of Melo at 35 games. I put it at a half a game so we can have a proper over under 35 and a half games until the Rockets fans start complaining about Carmelo Anthony.
Ooh. I'm actually going to go over here, and I actually like. So my concept here is think back to last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
All year, at the start of the year, we were like, "Oh, Russell, you're terrible. What's going on? Why are you being so bad?" And then it moved into like other people being bad. Paul George wasn't clicking with everyone. It was like, man, Paul George with that second unit, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
What's going on? And it takes you a while to figure out that the whole time your entire problem was that guy.
I don't know if it was the whole problem. That's a whole different
No, that's.
thing.
I mean, it's infectious. He's like a little virus that gets in there and ruins everything
Ooh,
else.
tough.
But he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
Great guy.
I just got to mention that
Well, I
as
don't
I
want-
talk shit.
I don't ever want that to go
No, he's
unsaid.
a very good person.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
That
Great
thank you
guy.
note he sent to all of us, I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
And,
man.
you know,
A real
it
class act.
It just didn't work.
I'm
but
gonna start
also
saying that. Class act.
That's one.
Nailed
of
it?
those, I nailed it. Is
I
what
liked
you're
your
saying?
explanation. I think it was perfect.
Excellent.
I agree.
My first thought was to start doing tweet, 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 tweet.
Except he's gonna play it. We'll just wait patiently.
Oh god.
we
Oh,
sure
this
will.
is. Oh, this is the
I don't
worst.
know what happened.
Total
What'd you do?
disaster.
It all
Total
Social
disaster.
media inquiries.
This is a disaster.
Yeah, just keep going and
Yeah, you
read
got
them.
that hijack.
It's not working. So
Old school. Throwback. Everyone's like, I'm turning this off.
Yeah, that's what ruined it for
We
everyone.
were at 23. We literally just went to 22. Somebody was like, nah,
Nope. I can't.
I don't think so.
What we got?
From our boy T at Drinking Tea. This might take some research, but each of you need to construct a team that you think can make that can take on the Warriors. However, the catch is that it has to be made up of all-time bench players only. So basically, 6-man of the year type players.
Okay, really tough question here.
Yeah,
and,
I'm
it
out on
required
this
a
one.
lot of research, and I did that research
oh, good,
because
because
I
I
knew
did not.
I knew that. I mean, it would be tough to go around the table on this one, anyways, because I think for the most part we would all form the same teams. You know, mostly, if we all made our own team. So here we go. James Harden, when he was bench player with the Thunder. Manu Ginobili, obvious choice. Michael Cooper, played for the Lakers, came off the bench primarily, barely started in his career, won Defensive Player of the Year, was on all defensive teams coming off the bench.
Wow.
Got to have him for KD, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, whoever you want to stick him on, do it. Tony Kukoc. A guy who can handle the ball. You don't need a point guard in this lineup when you have Harden, Ginobili, Kukoc. All three left-handers, by the way.
Well, that gum.
Could.
Ted Gum.
And you got good size with Kukoc too. So you got the switchability, and then I'm gonna throw Bill Walton in at center, a guy that can rebound and score, and pass,
And do a lot of drugs.
and do that. And
Very important.
Make
Lots of
weird
LSD.
references. But here's the thing: is I don't think you can form a team composed of bench players to beat that team. You can't.
No, well, okay, so random caveat, all the bench players are starters.
Oh.
No, it's
they
not.
have to-
No, it's not actually on there. I was just saying it'd be
Oh.
funny, like, okay, but all your bench players can be starters. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
anyways.
Yeah. Then you might be able to win.
Moving on from Calvin Alexander at Calvin Glenn A. If I can actually talk, what is your favorite sport to watch besides basketball?
None.
Thank
you.
I respect it.
I
Good-
said it
good
earlier.
question.
It's tennis for me. I love tennis, man.
Oof.
That is actually my answer. I'm sorry.
NASCAR.
Jesus.
Just kidding.
We just lost so
Just
many
kidding.
fans.
Just
Who
kidding.
are you?
What's
I only said that
NASCAR?
because there's no fucking reason to watch NASCAR at all.
They go
They're-
left.
They're going left.
Yeah. I tell you
Fast,
what.
though.
If you like
You
NASCAR,
go hockey?
It's such a hard question for me because it moves throughout the year.
Lacrosse?
I mean, right now, like I do watch lacrosse
Darts?
sometimes. I have watched darts recently, actually. No,
Darts isn't a sport. It's a game.
Just to let everybody out there know that Justin watches, I think you watch every single sport
Except
that's ever
for
been
cricket.
tell.
I hate
cricket?
cricket.
That's the one.
Yeah. Well, and that's going to piss off all of our Aussie and Kiwi fans.
Yeah,
I
that's
just I
true.
don't like cricket.
But other than that,
yeah.
all sports. Are
Yeah, no,
up your alley.
all in auto racing. I don't
Any
watch that either.
competition.
Yeah.
But,
Auto
yeah.
race. No one calls it auto. No matter what kind of racing is, it's NASCAR.
Yeah. That's right.
Next.
That's how it goes. If the thing will ever win.
By the way,
There it goes.
good tennis matches tomorrow if you're into it.
No
Dude,
one is. I'm sorry, no one is.
I'm super pumped on
not.
Keys. She is tearing it up.
Yeah.
I really like her.
Good Americans in the women's
Yeah.
side. Hasn't been a good American men's tennis
Since
player.
Roddick.
And even him, disappointing
Yeah.
every turn.
He's a real piece of shit. I agree.
So it's really been since Agassi, Sampras, since you've had a guy that you can count on to go make some noise.
I thought Isner was going to be that guy, but it never
Isner, he
happened.
just serves.
Yeah.
More like
That's all he does.
More like isn't-er.
Oh,
Boom.
damn, dude.
Uh,
Really got him there.
From Ben Burke at Ben Burke 10.
Got a
What
10
is
in
the
his name?
best chip available to the public?
Great question, Ben.
That is a solid
Cheddar and
question.
sour cream Ruffles. Is that what we're talking about?
That's
chips?
a good pick.
That's a great chip. Top number one
You
pick
know,
for me.
Pops chips. Is it Pop chips or Pops chips? Pop. It's just Pop.
Pop, I think. Yeah.
That's a
I
weird
don't know.
word
I
to
haven't
say.
had them, I guess.
Oh, very good.
I've heard they're very good.
But like, you know bags of chips.
I can't afford them.
You open a bag of chips and you're like, this is all that's in this bag. Like
Yeah,
they don't even.
'cause they
Pop
put the
chips
air
are
in there.
extra bad.
So
It's-
much
that's
air.
awesome.
There's barely any chips in the Pop chips, but very good chips.
You get
It's
3
a great
chips
chip.
per bag.
Yes, but very good chips.
I'm really into dill pickle chips right now. It sounds gross, but they're
That's
so good, dude.
disgusting.
No, it's you think okay, what
Well,
it
I don't
is-
like pickles.
Do you like salt? Okay, well then
Thought I was smelling
do you like-
something across the table.
it's me.
Is this chicken?
It's not the chips.
Been sitting here this whole time.
Do you like salt and vinegar chips?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like that, but it's like the vinegar is like a little less harsh, and there's like almost like a flavor to it. It's so good, man. It's dope.
I like your
Salt-
vomit action there.
No, I mean, I like pickles, but like salt and vinegar, no.
It doesn't taste like pickles though.
Oh, I love salt and vinegar.
If you gotta try it, you gotta just trust me. on
pickle
that.
It's hard to beat jalapeno kettle chips as
Yes,
well.
Miss Vicky's specifically.
Even though you eat them, you got so much shit in your teeth, and it's just like that was more of a chore.
Yeah.
Your mouth's cut up, you know.
That's
Yeah.
like eating some Captain Crunch cereal wise.
It's like eating Captain
Slice
Crunch.
you right up,
Captain Crunch is good though.
bleeding from the roof of
Yeah,
your mouth.
but it'll take your
You
mouth.
know what's
to town.
disappointing though when you go buy the Captain Crunch and you get the one that doesn't have the berries in it. You're
Oh,
like, what
yeah.
the hell?
I just
that-
burned
that's
that
a
box.
mistake.
Who wants the little yellow
Toss
pieces?
that in a pile of Nikes and set it on fire.
The little tiny Smurf pillows.
Hell yeah. No.
Next.
From Leighton Hodge at Leighton_Hodge. Stat news. So apparently Jerami Grant had a 3-point percentage of 36.6 between February 1st and April 30th. So the question is Grant's shot developing into a legitimate threat from deep, or is this just wishful thinking from a diehard OKC fan for the next season?
It's developing.
Nope.
I mean,
think
it's
it
got to
is.
be developing in some capacity, right?
Well, we hope, but we have some players that you would hope.
Well, he's
they would develop
been streaky
at some-
shooting the ball throughout his career.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that when he's open from three, you want him shooting it. You don't
Yeah.
feel great when he shoots the ball, but
Sometimes it goes in.
that number, 38% last however long in the season, that's an encouraging number.
That'd
Yeah.
be perfectly fine.
That's about what he shot 37% in 2016-17 season, I believe. That's another thing, man. If he shoots the ball well, that opens things up for this team.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Not only for the team, but for him as a player.
But I'm not like
Imagine
putting a ton of trust that he's just going to have a shot that's
can't.
going to stay around that. Like
I
I
don't
feel like
think
he's going to continue to just be a streaky shooter because that's kind of what he.
I think he's a guy that'll take 3 or 4 shots. I mean, I just think like they'll find him open and he'll make himself respectable.
Fireball. Shooting fireball.
Well, we're doing shots.
No. You stop it.
I'm so confused.
We'll all be
let's do
throwing
shots.
Up. No. Mm-mm.
So what are we putting the over under
Oh, good
at Jerami Grant's 3-point percentage next year?
I say
33.5.
I'm gonna say 35.
33.5. I'll go over.
Go a smidge over.
That's good.
At
That's
34.
good. If you guys feel confident in over
I'm
33.5,
not. I'm not confident. Now, you did not.
no.
Don't project that on
You
me.
heard it here first.
Also, I mean, but just
Jason guarantees 34%.
Or else he eats more chicken.
the general trend is always you shoot better as you get older. So I like it to continue to trend that way.
He's a guy that when he shoots the ball, sometimes it looks like there's other things on his mind. Not outside of basketball, but where he's like, I should be driving and dunking.
Remember how good I am at dunking?
He
I like-
says it to himself.
I like to
As
think
he
it's
shoots
outside
out
of
loud.
basketball where he's just like, that guy's hot dog in row 3 looks really good.
Yeah.
That's Nerlens Noel.
I left a plate in the sink.
Yeah, he's more like, did I leave the oven on?
That's Nerlens Noel?
No.
Did I leave
Nerlens
the
is the
oven
hot
on?
dog guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Who
Loves hot dogs. So do I.
who is the player on the Thunder that thinks the most about outside of basketball activities while he's playing the game?
Well, Kyle Singler's not on the team anymore.
Yeah,
That would
it
have been
would
a
be him.
shoe-in.
Feel like it's Abrinas. He's out there playing defense. He's like,
Just thinking in Spanish.
that's consuming itself,
That's
you know?
gotta be hard.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's
do
a whole
it.
different language.
I can't do
How
it.
do you even do that, bud?
He's just out there, man. There's so many species of fish. He has a country accent in his thought.
But still speaking in Spanish, though.
Yeah.
It's just a
No,
country
no,
accent.
it's Paul George. Like, I should have used the spinner bait that one time.
Yeah, he's just thinking
Yeah,
about
that
different
is-
baits.
Yes.
From Sportsfan 405 at 405 fan, percent chance Melo doesn't finish the year with Houston. You know, if they don't play as well, he's going to be the scapegoat, and if he doesn't play as much, he's going to fight with D'Antoni. I see a decent chance he doesn't finish. Interesting.
It is interesting. It is.
Well,
super
what's a
interesting.
decent chance? Like,
That'd be
what is
pretty
that?
crazy.
Decent as in over
30%?
Yeah, that sounds-
I would say
I'm gonna
decent.
say 10% chance.
I'd
Yeah.
go somewhere around there.
I think it's going to be fine.
I think it's 5.
And
I think
and
even
I think
if it's
it-
not fine, I don't think they'll do it.
And maybe I'm
Yeah.
giving Melo too much credit here, but I think at this point in his career, he's gonna go into this season and be like, if things don't work, he's gonna try to figure out and do whatever. He doesn't
I think
want
at
to
this
go
point-
somewhere
yeah.
else. Like
I think that would be embarrassing for him.
Right.
I
Like,
agree.
he's going to just figure it out. And if need be, I feel like this is the year that he would be like, okay, fine, I'll come off the bench.
I agree.
Because CP yelled at me and made me do it.
Agreed. You know what will be crazy though? If Harden or Chris Paul have to miss any games, and then insert Carmelo Anthony, we need another score. Oh no,
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
I want to watch a lot of that.
Yeah.
And by watch, I mean I want the Rockets to be subjected to that punishment, but I don't have to watch it.
Same.
From OKC Thunderama at OKC Thunderama. Also, big point, like, everyone's sending, like, full... They're using all the characters here on these tweets. I like it.
Well done, folks.
How much do you think continuity will have an effect on this season? We have seen Russ and Adams develop a strong connection over the years, so just bringing the same core back should be reason itself for improving.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. You guys answer.
Oh, I definitely think it stands to reason that
Oh, boy.
I think definitely.
You weren't
chemistry-
listening either?
No, I was.
I
I was
wasn't.
just trying to think if I was like ignoring like a really obvious part of the question. No, I think definitely for sure. I think that with these guys, I think Paul George, even though he hasn't been there for a long time, I think the fact that he chose to stay over all these other bigger teams when Oklahoma City needed it most, I think that almost makes up for 3 years of him being on the squad. I mean, that's a huge deal. And so, yeah, I think definitely, I think you're going to see, you know, the big three of Adams, Westbrook, and Paul George be like really solidified. And I think that you're going to see Schröder come in and things are just going to fall into place around that in the way that they couldn't last season.
Yeah. I've preached, like, since we started talking about this offseason. Continuity is so huge with this team, and I'm super happy about it.
Agreed.
From the Big Kiwi at Steven Adams Son 1, which game was your favorite for the Thunder last season? My favorite was when we beat the Raptors at home in December, which was a solid one.
Yeah, that was a good one because we needed one.
I'm going to flash back
That
to
is a good one. I
PG
like-
crossover on the Warriors and we win.
That's like a hipster pick, the Raptors game, you know, but it's a good pick. I like
It's a
it.
deep cut.
And you could also go with the other Raptors game where it was like all offense at Toronto late in the year,
Yeah.
and
That
the
was a fun one.
Thunder really needed that win, and they went and got it at Toronto. That was a fun. You go with the second Warriors game.
Yeah.
The first one was good too because I was so nervous.
Yeah, we watched that together
We watched
here.
it here, and then we
We were
podcast
both
afterwards.
very nervous.
Yeah, and the Thunder just took it to him really there.
My favorite was the last win we had over Houston because it was in a period of time.
Talking about that Christmas Day game?
Nope. He's
No,
talking
no,
We
about
played them after that, didn't we?
on the road
because we
in
were
Houston.
Yeah, we were hurting, and it was one of those times where it was like, can this team?
It
I
was
think
a-
I
it was
actually
a
was on the
much-needed win.
show after that game because I think we were all talking about like either before or after because we were all talking about it was really a far-fetched win for us, and we
I'm
got
going
it.
to be honest. I am upset at that win because it gave me hope
Yeah.
going into the playoffs.
That's a good one. The Rockets on Christmas was a good one.
Yeah.
Any of the
was a
Warriors
good
are good picks.
I like that Christmas Rockets game because of Andre Robertson's amazing steals and Russ's defense at the end.
There's good
Real
Spurs
fun.
win. Oh, the Cavs win.
At
100
Cleveland,
Yeah.
Well, which we three watched
That's
together
right,
at
that's
the
right.
garage.
Yes, we
yeah,
did.
that was
Got
a solid
drunk?
one. Yep.
Got real drunk and then went and had one of these.
I mean, getting drunk, that's not normal. That's not something that's surprising for me.
well,
That's
yeah.
right. Next.
From Anonymous. Yes. At Llama Chick 29. I
Said,
have some,
I am a chick.
I am a chick. Yeah, I thought that was
Oh.
an L.
It was the Moose Llama situation.
Lowercase L's and I's should not look the same. That's
Yeah, way
That's
to go, people who
Anyways,
invented the
Job
from
alphabet.
of
I am a
America.
chick 29. Will Adams still be wearing his camo jacket this season? 100% yes.
Yeah.
Is he? Or is he going to have something new? I mean, he's going to, whatever it is, he's going to wear it the entire
Might
season.
have a llama coat. You don't know.
It is weird that he
anyone
wore it
ever have?
every single day with the slides and the hat and the same thing every single day.
Or does he just have a bunch of them?
What would be more surprising? If he starts dressing Westbrook style where he's just a little crazy every time he comes to a game?
Ooh.
Or
That would
something
be so fun.
or something else that's surprising.
I'm gonna go with the one that's a real thing.
Okay.
And say him dressing as Russ.
He's
is
wearing
surprising.
the camo thing, right?
Yeah, probably. I like to think of it like when they show the closet of a cartoon character and it's just a bunch of the same thing.
Yeah, like
that's what Steven Adams' closet
Donald
looks like.
Duck's just one outfit.
Yeah.
You know, you have to respect it though. When you're that rich, yet you don't care, and
Yeah.
you just wear the same thing every time.
I love it.
Dude's saving some money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Putting it back for the
Yeah.
kids.
From Lucas Miller, American Flag, at Echelon Copy. As a coach, what does Billy Donovan need to do differently this season from seasons past for the Thunder to reach their full potential? Or will more of the same, seeing as how we now have a different cast of characters, yield better results?
man, this is a hard question.
I think a little
It
bit,
is.
a bit of both. I think.
I think he's going to. We kind of touched on this a little bit before, where at the start of the season I could see him tinkering as always, as the usual Billy, but then this season landing on something
So the hope is that the tinkering stops
a little.
halfway through
But
the
it doesn't
year,
have to
2/3
it
of
doesn't
the
have
year.
to completely stop, but it's just like you get it down to
Some
like
sort of
yeah,
consistency.
one or two positions maybe you're playing with, but not the whole
Right.
kit and caboodle, as they say.
Yeah, I don't know, Billy. That might be the biggest roadblock not the biggest roadblock, but one of the biggest roadblocks in what we were talking about earlier. Can this team win 60 games? Is that their ceiling? Is that Billy Donovan bringing that down because of how much he does mess with things and how much he does? Because he's not a guy that is going to be like, we have to get the 2 seed. That's not Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, what does the 2
I need to
seed matter?
know. I need to know what we have going into him.
Right. What does the 2 seed matter if we're not playing our best basketball going
Yeah.
into the playoffs? You know, I don't care about that one extra home court game if we're not playing our best ball.
Yeah,
So
I agree with that.
on that, with
last
that, that's what I respect Billy Donovan. That is for that aspect of his coaching. Is I like that he's very much like, I want to be playing our best ball when it matters.
Yeah,
That's what I
No,
do.
I
like
agree
about
with
him.
that.
And he's not about like, a lot of coaches in the NBA are probably going to be like, I want to win the most games possible in the regular season.
I mean,
because
it's probably his job security. Like he probably has a pretty nice leash, obviously.
he also has a nice fallback plan. If he loses it, man, that guy's back in college in no time.
Oh, yeah.
Killing it.
He gets whatever job he wants outside of, maybe Duke or
Kentucky.
some of those big ones. But
Yeah.
we're gonna skip notes today.
Yep.
Because we're a little too far. We'll carry them over to next week. Give me some
I
jazz.
don't have any music.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry.
Can you hum it?
Asshole, dude.
Oh my gosh!
Should just pull it up on my phone and just play it in the mic.
It
We-
might be playing back there. I can't tell.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah, it's
All right. Well,
well,
take
we-
us out.
We had some TDs. They're dreaded and we hate them. But we had to switch computers.
It's all kinda crazy.
There's been a whole thing, but we do appreciate everyone for tuning in, sticking through those. If you were with us from the beginning, subscribe on YouTube. This feels so weird to do without
It
the
does.
jazz in the background. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can catch every episode live or on demand. You can find us at OKCThunderheads.com. We got an updated Thunder salary cap sheet. We got the updated depth chart.
We got some
updated
bios for us.
Got the bios for
Pretty
the
fun.
whole team. We got the whole schedule for the entire season.
Go check
For
that
our
out.
go check
We
out.
are busy next year.
Yeah.
Or this
I'm
year.
pretty sure if you average them out per month, we're averaging about 13 shows a month, counting the aftershocks and everything. But those are absolutely podcasts that we're gonna do after each and every game. So
You're damn right.
you can go download those, put them in your calendar, know when they're coming, whatever you need to do. Like we did last week, go rate us on iTunes. Send us your review. If you're local here in Oklahoma City, we'll go send you a free haircut decision, Scotchman. We're not lying when we're saying this is the place to go to get your haircut.
It is the place to go.
I mean, you're gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna wonder why you hadn't been there already. So, do that. Send us that screenshot, and we'll send you that free haircut. We will be back next week with another one. Till then, and as always, thunder up.